my name is Ashley Marshall, and today I'm going to explain why you should never smoke marijuana underage. And when I say underage, I mean under the age of 25, because at the age of 25 is when our brain fully develops. Our prefrontal cortex develops, and our brain is fully developed, and that's our brain context for the rest of our life. So here I have why you should never use marijuana underage, under 25. It can lead to negative effects on your mental health, on our developing brains. And my purpose here is to spread awareness, give some education, and hopefully prevent somebody maybe from starting to use marijuana underage, because it can lead to adverse effects. And I do have some experience smoking marijuana underage. I have since stopped. I smoked marijuana from 14 to 18. I'm 19 now. I don't smoke marijuana anymore, and I really have seen a difference. I'm way happier, and I'm excited to share that with you in the next few slides. So what is marijuana? Marijuana is also called pot, weed, kush, dope, grass. According to the article written by Lauren Geoffrian, the effects of marijuana on the teenage and young adult brain of American addiction centers. Marijuana is derived from a plant called cannabis. Cannabis has these plants, marijuana leaves, and these marijuana leaves have a chemical called THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol. THC is the shortened version. When this chemical is used, ingested, smoked, this THC has cannabinoids and attaches to the cannabinoid receptors that we already have. We have cannabinoid receptors in our brain already. We have an endocannabinoid system, and this endocannabinoid system helps with body functions like body temperature regulation and coordination and balance. And this THC has these psychoactive properties that make us feel high. They make us feel this euphoric feeling and relaxed. And when we smoke marijuana and ingest marijuana, we have this dopamine release, and that sounds good. Dopamine is the actual, it's a happy neurotransmitter, and it sounds all good and fun, but I'll get to that later, why it can be actually the opposite. And that is from How Pot Affects Your Mind and Body by Paul Frisch. So there's many ways to use marijuana, and there's more ways coming up with, every day with these kids. So the ways it can be used mainly is it can be smoked, consumed, or vaporized. So I'm going to get into why you should never smoke marijuana underage, and some of these effects I have experienced myself and believe that it contributed to some of the worst years of my life, I would say, just mental health wise, and I'll get to that. So using marijuana in your teenage years can lead to short and long-term effects, negative effects. And in the article, What You Need to Know About Marijuana Use in Teens from the CDC, these are some negative effects that we're going to talk about. So memory loss, decreased critical thinking and cognition, and you have a higher risk of addiction, higher risk of developing mental disorders. And we have decreased IQ, so that relates to decreased critical thinking and problem solving. In the article, How Pot Affects Your Mind and Body by Paul Frisch, it talks about how marijuana can actually decrease IQ. And I found this a lot in the articles I was reviewing. But in this specific one, they did a study with imaging, and they had two sets of people. They had people that smoked during adolescence and people that did not. And they took IQ tests, and people that did not smoke marijuana during adolescence actually had a higher IQ than the ones that did smoke. So, and that leads to the research showed that fewer neural connections in memory and learning was present, and that's can be tied to marijuana use and the low IQ scores. And we have a higher risk of developing mental disorders from marijuana use underage. If you have a parent with psychological disorder, you have a 1 in 10 chance of developing that disorder. And if you smoke marijuana on top of that, you have a 1 in 5 chance, so you actually double your risk of developing disorder. And that's from Anne McDonald at Harvard Health Publishing. Smoking marijuana increases risk of temporary psychosis and long-term schizophrenia. That's seeing things that are not there, hearing things that are not there, hallucinations. So could you imagine that all the time just for some fun and to relax? It's a big price. And you also have increased risk of anxiety and depression from the CDC, they say. And that can relate to the influx of dopamine and the constant release of dopamine if you're constantly smoking marijuana, and also if your brain is in development still, then that can just be a recipe for disaster, because your brain it needs to regulate, and it's still growing. And so if you're kind of microdosing on dopamine, and you say you see your sister you haven't seen in a long time, and that's a happy moment, that's a true happy moment, you're not going to feel as happy because you've been not exposed to this kind of fake happiness, this chemical happiness. So you're not going to feel as happy. You're not going to reach that threshold. And that can lead to some serious feelings, and I've experienced that. You have a high risk of addiction. 1 in 10 adults who use marijuana become addicted. 1 in 6 adults who use marijuana as a teen become addicted. And in 2021, nearly 5 million young adults aged 18 to 25 and 1.3 million adolescents aged 12 to 17 had a diagnosed marijuana use disorder. And that's from American Addiction Center's Marijuana Use Disorders Addiction of Marijuana. My personal experience, I've smoked marijuana from 14 to 18, I'm 19 now, and I honestly can say I am the best mental health I've been in 4 years, and I didn't realize how much of an effect this had, because I did start smoking marijuana to subside some of my mental health symptoms I was having, anxiety, depression, and this led to me having some difficulty learning, demotivation. I didn't want to go to school. I felt that the only way to feel happy was to get high, and that's not the case. There's some marijuana benefits that we've seen. It can help with sleep, in anxiety and depression in small amounts. Associate Professor Emma Childs of Psychiatry at the University of Illinois talks about how there is research that indicates this small amounts of cannabinoids can be helpful with anxiety, but big amounts can be harmful and cause opposite effects. It's just too early to really have a solid conclusion there. And that's from Pros and Cons of Weed 11 Possible Effects on Your Health 2022. And I wanted to talk about some natural highs that we can experience. Natural highs are ways of getting high, feeling euphoric, having that dopamine release without drugs. So the article 5 Natural Drug-Free Ways to Get High by Molly Lorich. I included some points here. Exercise, meditation, actually fake laughing tricks your brain into feeling happier. And I am going to end here, but I just want to close with, if this doesn't affect you, it may affect someone you know. I have some statistics here. In 2021, a survey found that in the United States, 11.8 million people aged 18 to 25 use marijuana. And also 30% of high school seniors use marijuana in the last year, and over 6% use it every day. And that's from American Addiction Centers. So I really wanted to just spread my message of the importance of mental health, the importance of our developing brains, and the importance of knowing and being educated and being aware of these adverse negative effects of marijuana. And I want you to tell your friends, tell everyone you know, and I hope you take this into consideration. I hope I've persuaded you to not smoke marijuana underage or stop doing so. Thank you very much.